Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. D here with our first episode on trading Forex. I'm looking forward to a wonderful session, and if not, I'm looking forward to learning something. Well, if this is your first time here, you can check us out at our website, which will give you abundantly more information on what I do for a living. But in the meantime, we wanted to learn Forex, and we thought this was a good way of doing that and showcasing and documenting our experience in the space. So let me go right ahead and jump right into sharing my screen. And let's get out of all of this. And then bring up Forex screens. Well, on this channel, we're going to specifically trade gold and only gold for approximately a year and see exactly how we have done over that duration. I have taken courses in Forex, but there's nothing like the real thing. I have lost money in Forex. I looked at that as part of the learning curve. And as we get to know one another, I would like to show my results over time and see exactly how our progress in this Forex space has developed. So what you're looking at here is I have some indicators. It's always good for me, anyhow, I thought, to have indicators to assist, because at the end of the day, we all just want to know one thing: are we on the right side of the tape? So first things up, let's go into pretty much our analysis. I'm using Renko Street STF. It's a free indicator system out there online. If you guys want me to write a video on that explaining how I use the Renko Street and everything else, I can do that. You just need to suggest it. And the other indicator is an indicator that I bought from Uncle P session over there at Super Easy Forex. This helps me to understand what side of the tape I'm on. But what you're looking at, let's bring this screen up. This is gold trading in 5-minute intervals. For each bar represents a 5-minute duration of time. Full screen it. There you go. And this is what gold has done between March 16th all the way over to March 17th at this current time. And you can see that gold was at an all-time low at 1894.05. And then ever since then, which was March 16th, and this would have been 1900 hours, but they're using London time frame. So to be in my time zone, it's about 5 hours back. So that would have placed me at about 4 p.m. at March 16th, when this low point has transpired and went up into a positive trending motion. This line here is my 200 moving average on the 5-minute chart. So I like to know exactly where my 200 moving averages are, because above this is a buy, below it is a sell. And sometimes even when you're above it, you want to be on the right side of the tape still. And even though this appears to be trending, gold over the last week, since the Ukraine war, has broken all the rules that I can imagine. Have I lost money on it? Yes, I have. Um, have I learned from it? I sure have. But at the end of the day, um, goal is one of those things I figured will have an enormous impact on our lives, and it actually tells a story. So let's jump right into our analysis. I'm going to go to the 4-hour charting process. And as you can tell here, this is what gold has done from March 8th. It's been falling like crazy ever since the war broke out in Ukraine. So today was the first sign of rate hikes by the Feds. And ever since their rate hikes, or they've announced their rate hikes, gold has been back on the incline. So let's jump right into our analysis. Okay, we see that that's a top 4-hour window. So let's put a line up there, put a line down to the bottom as well to indicate where this range is. I'll draw some diagonal lines to showcase diagonal. This one. Let's get into this. Right. And as you can tell, there's been a change of momentum here on gold. So this is my trend line. So we're trending downward for past say about 10 to 9 days or so. So sometimes it takes a time to build up a position in order to understand exactly what we need to do. And so this is what I'm looking at gold. I'm obviously biased to the upside and need to curb my feelings and optimism about having a bias. Really, trading these markets, I shouldn't have a bias, but at the end of the day, I obviously do. Close that window and then bring us up into some of our easy pips indicator. And obviously in my 15-minute window, it has indicated that we are in an uptrend, which we have confirmed by drawing the lines on our analysis. But here again, how I like to trade is that this is an uptrend. I want to be on the right side of the tape. So I'll take a small position on this side of the tape with the understanding that we should climb this thing up. And when the reverse occur, I can either do one or two things. I can take my profits, or I can hedge the position, or I can let it ride. And a lot of times when you let it ride, you lose all your profits because the price comes right back into where you had acquired. So we know that our bias to gold at this particular time, and it is 4 a.m. March 17th. I've chosen 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. to do my trading, primarily because I do have a day job and I do have 3 children, and they have activities that require my presence. So this is the only time that I have that will give me the benefit of trading within the Forex markets. So now that we see 15 minutes is on the up and up, we go to the 5 minute. 5 minute is showing a down arrow. Now this is showing conflict, right? You want to trade when there is correlation, and it's easier to notice that when the 5 minute and the 15 minute was in correlation, the market was in an increase. The 5 minute have indicated a sell signal based on price action, and based on this alone, as well as the 15 minutes not having correlated together, I will sit this one out, really, and just simply wait. Now is not the time to say hit a long position until this 5 minute indicator hits or reverses its decision on price action. So in the 5 minute range, we're looking at pricing coming down. In the 5 minute range, in the 15 minute range, we're looking at pricing going up. And somewhat it is confusing at times which side of the tape to pick so that you can ride and scale up. And yes, we can obviously put a long side of the trade in at this particular time frame, but for me it's not worth it. So we'll just sit this one out and allow the trade to come to us versus us going to the trade. And in this trading game, there's a lot of patience involved. There's a lot of understanding what's going on involved. But you know, for the most part, you know, in learning this trading game, this game is only an accelerant to everything else that you're doing. If this is the only thing that you do for money, it's going to hurt quite a bit, primarily because you always need additional sources of capital. Now, trading is not an easy thing to do, especially when it comes to being consistent. Not everyone is as consistent as they ought to be, but that's the whole game behind learning. You want to have a level of consistency that will help you on your trading day. We can go into a lot of, I guess, other areas where training is not heavily preferred, but once you're trading Forex, you're going to need some type of training when it comes to having a mentor and a coach. I have a couple of them as well too. There again, if you want me to create a video on that, just leave a comment underneath the YouTube, and we will go ahead and create that for you. In the meantime, you know, gold is in conflict right now between the 5 minute and 15 minute. We want to trade when everything is showing a positive sign. However, let me go into this chart here. This chart helps me, and this is what Renko specializes in. This chart helps me understand the patterns a little bit more clearer. As you can tell through the color coding process, I have a SARS indicator on this particular indicator, and it tells me that when price is above the SARS, that's also a buy signal for me. So I have a number of confluences before I pull the trigger on any purchase within the Forex market. Number one, if I'm going to the long side, which is buy low, sell high, I'm going to look for confluence patterns in here to show that this is positive. I'm going to look and make sure both my indicators are pointing to the upside on the 5-minute and the 15-minute. And the type of trading that I like to do is scalping. So at some point in time, I like to take my money off the table so that the account can constantly move forward. And yes, I don't like the Forex pairing to move so quickly. Gold doesn't move that quickly, but it gives me time to adjust. This is our first episode on Forex, and boy, waking up 4 o'clock in the morning is not the easiest thing in the world to do. Going back to this Renko, these green bars here indicate that price action is moving in a positive direction to the upside. And the white bars represent price action coming down. And there again, you get a clear indication of what price is doing all along this traction. So we said that about when the Fed announced their rate hikes, the indicators on gold all turned positive. And I guess it's a way to curb inflation. But the war in Ukraine isn't doing anybody any favors at this particular moment. And as we can tell, gold has been steadily on the incline since the Fed has introduced its rate hikes. So let's go ahead and see what's going on. We're at the top of the range for gold at this time at 1937.71. And there again, it's positive and it's above the SARS. It looks like it wants to have a breakout. Let's go to our 5-minute. The 5-minute indicator has not gone off yet for a buy. So we're just going to sit back and wait. Wait until this indicator changes. Then we will. It's nice. It's lovely to look at the breakouts when they're happening, because at the end of the day, you see all the daily dots move their positions and skyrocket high. It's interesting. Nonetheless, I like to see it. And once we take a position, you would see I have some information along over here on this chart, which tells me the current trading price. And it tells me the high of the day, the low of the day. Gives me a time frame as to when this ticker will change again, which, since this is a 15-minute, every bar represents 15 minutes. It's 9 minutes and 39 seconds to go before the next bar occurs. My spread on gold right now is 2.6. There again, my time frame is at 15 minutes, and this is my put value time. So we'll pay careful attention to what our pip value is, including the open positions and the total positions. And then we just simply go from there. So this is pretty cool. I am a student of trading. I like trading. Do I trade on the stock market? Yes, I do. Um, I do have a drip policy. There again, at another time, we can go into how this trading plays into our overall financial outlook. I like to say that this trading is a passive activity. Practically, because I'm not doing anything other than just hitting a couple of buttons. However, you got to view trading as a business. It's a very serious business. This you shouldn't take this business lightly because it involves your capital. And if you don't like your capital to be involved, some people can't take losing money. You have to be able to have losses in the Forex market in order to survive the Forex market. I get upset too with losing money, but at the end of the day, it's not going to stop my light bill from going off or the air conditioning to stop running. So I have a matrix that I use. And there again, if you want me to talk about what that portfolio looks like and the interconnectivity of that, and by all means, let's rock it. But we have a real estate portfolio. We buy businesses as well, portfolio, and then we have a number of activities in the passive investing space. And there again, so you can tell that I truly love investing. If you go to our website, you can also see that we have a couple of other meetings that you can engage with. So Forex is on Thursday nights at 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I do have a meetup for a real estate club that we're growing, and where we discuss, sorry, where we discuss buy, hold, and fix and flips. I'm in the Melbourne, Florida area, so that's one of the areas that I would would be considered my farm area. So what that farm area means is that's the area that I'm mining for real estate, so that we can either fix or flip with a general contractor that's working with us and take advantage of the market that way, or have a a great team in the real estate space to wholesale deals. So I do think wholesaling is the bread and butter of all real estate, and it requires a lot of work. So when you're looking at building your financial freedom map, uh, you have to have a couple of things going for you that's generating revenue so that you could constantly invest in the space. So, and that's what I meant by saying that within the Forex market, you probably want to have an external revenue source until Forex can become a significant force for you. In the meantime, you're just learning. Right? So it's our job to really uh, don't put a bunch of money in the Forex, but just constantly learn in the space. Let's take a look at our 5 minute and notice that. So, so the down arrow that we had has been invalidated, and as such, we're looking at correlation between the 15 and the 5 minute just occurring. So I will take a position. I will buy that position from my phone, which makes it a lot easier. All right. Oh, that's interesting. Well, to our surprise today, um, my account transfers for revenues have not been approved yet by LQDFX. So you'll have to just watch this one on the sidelines. And yes, I don't trade demo, I trade live. So there again, and I do all the purchases and selling off of my phone. I know you can't see it right now, but let me see if I get closer. Yeah. Yeah. One day I'll connect the phone up to the system as well, so you can view the purchases from the phone. But right now, everything is showing all greens. So we would be in a buy as it relates to trading gold today. And we will probably be sitting in there at 1939.15. So it's my intention to start this account off with approximately $500 for starters. And then we simply would go from there in terms of what it takes in order to grow a $500 account into something significant. And if we lose it, we lose it. But there again, that's part of the education of understanding, number one, having a trading system, having a trading plan that we can leverage, and to know exactly what side of the tape we need to be on. And yes, I'm missing out on this part of the tape, but at the end of the day, I think by the time the funds get transferred over to the trading account, we'll still be in time, because as you can tell, some trends can run up to 8 and 9 days. So we want to catch a trend, and we realize that this is a trend that we can catch at this moment. But if we miss it, we miss it. We'll catch the next one, right? The trading game is a lot of waiting to see if your setups are going to validate themselves. And just as this one is about to do, we want to see if price action, and we only trade price action, by the way. We believe that price action is the underlying movement to fundamentals. And for those of you who understand economics and the fundamentals of that, it's my belief that price action trumps a lot of that data, because the data is in the price and it's calculating for the fundamentals. So I believe price. And, you can disagree with me if you like. Put it in the comment why you disagree as to fundamentals having a priority over price action. But you need to trade with the mindset of understanding both. All of those who are in all of the camp for price action without fundamentals, well, in my opinion, sometimes that's just wrong. But for the most part, you got to have an appreciation for both. So as we see, this thing is climbing nicely, and it's going up. So that's the side of the tape that we want to be on. And here it shows a clear sign that this thing is trending, and this is momentum. Renko Street, and this is one of the reasons why I like the Renko Street softwares. Number one, it was free, but at the end of the day, it truly helps understanding patterns and the movement of a currency or any of the allotments that can be traded on the Forex market. As you know, Bitcoin, you can trade Bitcoin now. There are other currency pairings that we can trade, and it's a beautiful thing to have a trading experience as a part of your skill set. Because once you have a different skill set and you're able to make side money from your trading expeditions, you can have such a you can have such confidence in your own ability to whereby, why would you need a 9 to 5 kind of thing? And there again, not everyone is in that camp. It's not, trading is not for everybody. One bump in the road and from a financial perspective, and it could hurt you. So we try not to let trading hurt us. That's why the account is only at so much. But yes, we're missing this incline up, but there's a concept called FOMO, fear of missing out. You should never feel like you're missing out, because the markets are always going to, there's always going to be moments of wins and loses. You just need to be a consistent trader and understanding exactly what side of the tape you want to be on. So there's always opportunity. You just need to figure out what side of the tape you're on. So I like this to help the decision in terms of understanding what side of the tape you're on. And let's expand this out to see what transpired over a longer time frame. So as you can tell, from March 14th, this thing has been dropping. Come up, drop, 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 all underneath the 200 moving average. Got to the point here whereby it touched the 200 moving average, then had a great fall. Boop, 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 boop. It got up to the 200 average again, then it had another fall. Came up slightly above, fall again below the 200. So there again, this gold has been volatile over the last, as I said, 9 days. So of course, this is only over the last 3 days, but even within the last 3 days, this thing had almost a $75 drop, which is huge, huge. And now we're on the upside, going to the upside. Look at that, just a beautiful movement. It's always nice to have an additional skill set. Let me zoom back in. It's looking really good. But don't forget, now they're pullbacks. You've noticed that every push has somewhat of a pullback. Okay. Some courses I went into taught the W's and the M's. I guess this would be a W pattern on the leg up, but for the most part, notice what's going on in the economy too. Inflation is creeping up, and the Fed just spike the interest rate so that they can curb inflation. So they're willing to trade off, I guess, unemployment and send the unemployment number a little bit higher because that Fed hike in interest rates is going to impact a lot of the lending and borrowing from your financial institutions. So that's going to be really interesting over the next couple of months to see what transpires in that space. But there again, if you're trading or you have assets that are producing you revenue, you most certainly can offset the fear of inflation just to become a good trader. The goal for us on the trading account is to gain about 10 percentage points. And, according to a lot of other individuals, you shouldn't have a target. Just trade what the market gives you, and that's fine. I'm all on board for that. But the difficulty that I have is that I'm only trading between 4 and 6 on Thursdays. Yes, I will try to be a little bit more consistent in terms of monitoring and managing the account. And there again, when you're not with me, you'll notice a fluctuation in the account. But there again, at some point, I will allow select individuals to view my progress to see exactly what type of trader I am. And that will help out us all primarily because what type of, in this self-discovery phase, what type of trader are you, right? Are you so fearful that you reverse positions often, you overtrade the account, or you what do they call you anger trade? Meaning when you lose $1 today, you try to I think they call it revenge trading. You try to revenge and replenish the account almost immediately. I think this is a patient game, and it should be viewed as such. Okay. Well, seeing that this thing is continually going up, I'm going to shut up for a while and just let this thing play out. And then I'll come back next week, Thursday, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens between now and next week. But this thing is trending up, and it's going to the strong side. So it's just a matter now of time. All indicators are showing positive, and I can't wait to continue to do live trading with you guys. But there again, I showed you my analysis on the 4 hours. And if you want, we can get into some of the other guys on YouTube that have done analysis that I learned this from, right? There are other guys out there that are doing some amazing things. And I'm learning a lot in the space, by the way, meaning that you shouldn't get your information from one location. You really need to figure out in this trading space what type of trader you are. And a lot of people that's in my circle, all of us are new to the Forex. Not new to investing, but new to Forex. And that's why we're taking a very slow roll and documenting our progress in the space. And we're only looking at one element. Yes, we can look at the others, but in the meantime, you don't pretty much want to get it confused and start trading anywhere and everywhere just so you can trade. Don't trade for just the sake of trade. You want to trade because it's helpful. You want to trade because your mind is clear. You want to trade because you're noticing patterns that are working in your favor. There's a pattern chart out there. And there again, if you want me to bring that to the table one day and show you what all the patterns out there look like, I can do that. But for the most part, this thing is still trending up. And even though we're noticing right here that a slight reversal is occurring or a slight pullback, it's not enough to trigger any of our indicators. So with that said, you know, I'm going to let this one ride. It's been about 41 minutes now, and goal has just started its upclimb. So we're going to let goal do its thing, and I will see you guys next week, Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us. Normally it's a 2-hour ride for me doing the trading, but if I'm not in a position or um, we're not engaged, you're very well more than likely to join this session because it's a live trading session and it's a Zoom session. We want this to be interactive. So as many as those of you who would like to learn Forex yourself, this is one way for us to do it. Let's all come together in a group and understand exactly what we need to do. I do like the environment of learning and collaborating together, and it has been a phenomenal task to do that within the Zoom community, within the MeetUp community. And for those who are joining us for the first time, my name is Dr. Devon Dames. We can get into my story at a later time, but for the most part, our goal is to really understand what it takes in order to trade um, professionally here and to do it at a level that we could comprehend and share information as much as we possibly can. Everyone is sharing their information online, and a lot of the content within this space is free. And there again, I simply want to have a voice in that setting to whereby my voice is heard as well too in the space. So Dr. Devon Dames signing out for now, and we most certainly will talk again next week Thursday at 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. trading time, Eastern Standard Time, which we would consider our trading time. So thank you very much for listening. Put a comment below, and then we'll start to get into the space whereby we find one medium to communicate in. And over the next couple of weeks, months, we'll get to know one another really, really well in the space. So thank you so much. See you soon. Bye.